Now let us start with our first chapter, historical background. Now we'll cover our Indian polity of Lakshmikanth through mind maps. Now why mind maps? Because it helps you retain your memory for longer time. Okay, this is the reason we opt for mind maps. Now let us see. Don't lose your hope. Always stay motivated. Okay. The first act is Regulating Act of 1773. So now, if you look after the historical background, it is divided into two parts. One is company rule, another is crown rule. This is till 1857. This is till 1947. Okay, just fix this thing into your mind. Let us move forward. The best thing towards understanding Indian polity is going through logics and mind maps. So let us start with the Regulating Act of 1773. Now we'll see its significance. What is its significance? Through this act, British government decided to control the affairs of East India Company. First time it has demarcated its functions into political and administrative. So this is the second point. Okay. Next, third important point is Governor of Bengal changed into Governor General of Bengal. Okay. Next, Governor of Bengal, as he made into Governor General of Bengal, uh, other governors of Bimba and Madras became subordinate to Governor General. That means they lost the powers. Okay. Next, so who was the first Governor General? The question may be asked from here. So it is Warren Hastings. Remember this. Next, also by this act, Supreme Court was also established in 1774. It consists of one chief and other three judges. So this is all about Regulating Act of 1773. And also one more important point is through this act, the company's officers, that means civil servants, are not allowed to participate in any kind of private trade. They have to deal with only commercial affairs of the official affairs of the company itself. So they should not indulge in any bribes or taking or illegal practices. Okay. So you just remember the thing 1773 is the period when the Britishers established their whole in India, especially in Bengal region. After the Battle of Buxar, which was to happened in 1764, they established a very strong hold in 1764 in Bengal. Okay, so in this way, you need to interrelate polity with history. You can have the good memory. Okay, now let us move to the next part. Pitt's India Act of 1784. So, why Pitt's India Act of 1784 came into existence? It first demarcated its functions into political as well as commercial. Now, before it, we talked about the previous act divided the functions into political and administrative. When coming to the Pitt's India Act of 1784, it demarcated into political and commercial, and also a new body of board of control was established to supervise the operations of government plus revenue. So slowly all the powers of the company are going towards crown rule. Okay, this is the logic. So till 1857, slowly the powers of the East India Company will get decreased and the powers of the British government will get increased. This is the logic. Remember this logic. And So through this act, British government got complete hold of company's affairs. Okay. Now, and along with board of directors, court of directors was also established, and this will look after commercial affairs. So how to remember this? C for C. Okay. P looks after political affairs, na, as we already discussed. So B stands for, let us see, let us say bureaucracy, and they deal with the political matters. So remember in this way. Okay, don't forget this. Next, let's go to second act. So this is the Charter Act of 1833. Through this act, Governor General of Bengal is transformed into Governor General of India. That means before we have studied that Governor of Bengal transformed into Governor General of Bengal, he got more powers than other officers, right? Now, as the Governor General of Bengal became Governor General of India, he became more and more powerful all along India. So all are became subordinate to him. And this is the final step towards centralization. Now, what is centralization? A guy sitting over here, whatever whoever is below him, they need to follow his orders only directly. They don't have any powers. Now, what is our system? Ours is a decentralized system. How? Like PM Narendra Modi, states, local self government, panchayat raj institutions. So this is called decentralization. That means we have given powers to states as well as local self governments. So in this way, you need to interrelate things with the current affairs. Okay. Next. So let us see more. So as the Governor General of Bengal became Governor General of India, who is the first Governor General of India? The question can be asked. Answer is Lord William Bentinck. And also this act tried to open the civil services to Indians, but it failed. This was only an attempt. It never got into existence. It got into existence in 1853, which we'll study later now. Now, also from this act, these are called as acts. Before Charter Act of 1833, these were called as regulations. From now onwards, these are known as acts. Okay. Now, as we have already said, Governor General of India became more powerful. He got bestowed with all civil and military powers. Okay. And the law commission was also constituted. As it lost all its powers, it became a administrative body. Now I'm going to tell you another logic. The logic is any change, be it any change, it doesn't happen, it does not take place in a single day. It requires years and years. So that's why an attempt is made in Charter Act of 1833 to open civil services to Indians, and it happened in 1853. Okay. In the same way, first Governor General of Governor of Bengal is made into Governor General of Bengal, and then he is made into Governor General of India. Slowly, the power shifted towards British Crown rule, and the company's powers got reduced. So this is the strategy of British government, as they need to understand more about India through East India Company. Let us move forward. So this is before Sipai Mutiny. You Many of you know, that means the it took place in 1857. As Veer Savarkar has said that it is known as first war of independence. Before this, one act came into existence. Before Sepoy Mutiny, the way you need to remember the things is to correlate the things so that you will remember and retain your memory for longer periods. So this is a new way of reading. So let us look after Charter Act of 1853. Let us discuss its features. A separate governor was appointed for Bengal, right? This is first point. And as we already discussed, civil services thrown open to Indians. Done. This task is done. And next, number of court of directors reduced from 24 to 18 as they find no longer use of this. Next, legislation became separate entity. That means a central legislative council is formed. It functioned as mini parliament in which there are 6 members. First time local representation comes into the scene. Out of the 6, 4 are Indians and 2 are British. Out of these 4, they are chosen from Mumbai, Madras, Bengal, Agra. Okay, you need to remember them. Who are nominated by these people? So Viceroy nominated them. Okay, remember this. Now let us move towards second. Government of India Act of 1858. So this happened immediately after Sepoy Mutiny of 1857. So what triggered 1857? You have to read that and you need to answer in the comment section. Please stay motivated and evoke curiosity of yourself to know more things so that you can understand better logically. Okay, go on. Now here another thing happened. First Viceroy came into existence. Now how? As we already discussed, change takes place every time slowly. So Governor General of India became Viceroy. So who is the Viceroy? Who is the first Viceroy? Question can be asked. It is nothing but Lord Canning. Do you know who are the contemporary leaders of this time? One of them is Raja Ram Mohan Rai. He was a pioneer of Western education and social reforms. You need to read about him. Next, through this act, Court of Directors and Board of Control got abolished, and Secretary of State got formed. Office of Secretary of State got formed along with 15 members of council as an advisory body in which secretary stands as a chairman. So who is secretary? He was a member of British cabinet. That means he is an MP of Britain Parliament, who is close to Britain's crown. Yeah. So this is all about Government of India Act of 1857. Another important thing is it is also called as Act of Good Government. That means they felt the need that without Indians we can't move forward, and it is the time we need to take all the matters of East India Company into our hands so that no other mutiny would take place in the future. If something would happen in the same situation in 1867, if something it happens, then there will be no future for British government and they cannot withhold that revolt. So keeping in that mind, Britain came towards Government of India Act of 1858 in the name of Act of Good Government of India. So you need to remember like this. Okay. So here comes the Indian Councils Act 1861. Now this is the first step towards decentralization. As we already discussed what is decentralization, comment in the box below. Next, Viceroy can appoint Indians as non-official members of his council. And through this decentralization, Bombay and Madras, whose powers was lost before, now got restored. Okay, and new legislative councils were established at three areas. That is at Bengal, Northwest Frontier Province, which is now in Pakistan, Afghanistan. Next, Punjab in 62, 66, 67, 97. And for the first time, portfolio system got introduced as the Lord Canning nominated three Indians to his legislative council. Now more people got into his council. They need to have something, they need to have some work, they need to take care of something, right? That's why more people comes into a picture, so more scenarios comes into picture. That's the reason why portfolio system got importance. And through this act, Viceroy got more powers, as we already discussed. So what's the logic? Repeat yourself. Change doesn't take place in the overnight. Before this act, Viceroy was introduced, and from this act, Viceroy was empowered with more powers, and he's given powers to make rules and orders. He can issue ordinance during emergency, like our Indira Gandhi at the time of 1975. So this is all about Indian Councils Act 1967. In this way, you need to correlate the things. Okay. Next, let us move forward. Indian Councils Act 1892. Now, through this act, legislative members can discuss budget. Again, the same logic, change doesn't take place in the overnight. Remember this one, budget. We'll go through this in the following time. Next, following slides. Now, questions can be asked like this. When was the legislative members can discuss budget and can ask the questions? It is in 1892 Indian Councils Act. Next, nomination system for non-official members. So how the non-official members got introduced into the council? Through nomination system, not election. Okay. Next, so and while coming into the nominations, who can appoint and where they can appoint? Viceroy appoints non-official members for Central Legislative Council as in the central government. Now next, governor can appoint in a provincial legislative council. Now you may be having the doubt, who are these provincial legislative councils? So there are some areas, provinces: Bombay province, Madras province, Bengal province, Delhi province. In this way, there are provinces. So there are governors for this. Viceroy controls them. They works under the powers of Viceroy. So these all about Indian Councils Act 1892. Let us move towards India Councils Act 1909. It is also called as Morley Minto reforms. Now who is Morley? He is secretary. Now who is Minto? He is Viceroy. It is also legalized communalism. Now what is communalism? You can define in this context the conflict between Hindu and Muslims got official status. You can say like this, or legal status. Now how? How it can be legalized? You may ask these questions. For this answer, separate electorates were introduced for Muslims. That means only Muslims can vote for Muslims. You may imagine how the polarization can be. Now, who is the first Indian to be introduced into Viceroy's Executive Council? Satyendra Prasad Sinha. Okay, so this is all about Indian Councils Act, and a few more points are, so as I already mentioned regarding the budget, in this, only through the Act of Indian Councils Act of 1909, the members can ask supplementary questions on budget. Supplementary questions allowed. Before this, they can discuss, but supplementary questions are not allowed. Okay, now let us see. Let us move forward. Government of India Act of 1909. It is also known as Montague-Chelmsford reforms. So, who are these people? Montague is secretary, as usual. Chelmsford is viceroy, as usual. Okay. Now, it continued the separate electorates, which was previously introduced for Muslims. Now, they extended to Sikhs, Anglo Indians, Indian Christians, Europeans. This is very bad. And next, it introduced Office of High Commissioner for India. Next, it introduced Public Service Commission. Budget, again budget comes into picture. Provincial budget and central budget got separated, and provincial legislatures, they can enact their own budget. They have given powers to enact their own budget. So this is all about Government of India Act of 1919. One more important change is, from now on it is called as Government of India Act. Did you observe this? Before this, they were known as Indian Council Acts. Okay. So in this way, you need to interrelate the things in an analytical manner. Let us move forward. Now the Simon Commission comes into picture. So who is this Simon Commission, and why was it constituted? And why was so much negativity over Simon Commission? Simon Commission consists of seven members. Now why negativity? All the seven members are Britishers. Not no Indians were there in this council commission. So, and what is the reason behind this commission? To review previous constitutions and the impact of them on India. Why the people who came from outside, how they can understand what's the impact on us, because the Indians are the one who suffered, right? That's the reason everyone opposed the Simon Commission. It recommended some points. Those are abolition of diarchy, okay, and establishment of federation of British India, and responsible government in provinces. That means provinces should be endowed with more powers. Federation of British of India means Britishers councils along with princely states. Now, who are these princely states? Princely states are those kingdoms who are neither nor direct control under British. They are little bit independent when compared to other provinces like Bombay, Madras, and Bengal. But it never got into existence. And also, so who is the chairman of Simon Commission? The name itself suggests that Simon. They need to submit the report in 1930. Now, it is a statutory commission, an ad hoc commission. What is ad hoc? Ad hoc is nothing but temporary. Okay. Next, who died? This you can't find in Indian polity. When you study history, you will get this thing. Who died protesting against it? The main leader. It is Lala Lajpat Rai. On the death of Lala Lajpat Rai, Bhagat Singh got more furious than ever before and decided to kill the British officer who killed Lala Lajpat Rai. And that's why he killed Sandias. You can read about him in history. Now let us look after the communal award. Why was it introduced? It thought extend to extend the separate electorates for SC caste. Now why SC caste? The Britishers are always following divide and rule, divide and rule policy, so that they can rule and they can exploit Indians, and and to distract the Indians from mainstream politics. So this is the strategy of Britishers. That is the reason they have introduced separate electorates through 1909 Minto Morley reforms. Now they have come to such extent that in the Hindus itself they want to divide again between SCs and others. Now why only SCs? Because at that point Ambedkar is already leading a movement against non-SCs, especially Brahmins, to stop untouchability. Now that is the reason British took the advantage of the situation, and the British PM Ramsay MacDonald thought of introducing communal reward. But thanks to Gandhiji, because of his first unto death, Pune Pact came into existence, and within the Hindus, joint electorates, they agreed for the joint electorates and for the reservation for SCs. So now there will not be any problem for Hindus and much more polarization. Now let's move forward to Government of India Act of 1935. So it consists of 10 schedules in which there are 321 sections till we get independence, and after the independence till we got our own constitution we continued using Government of India Act of 1935. So what the changes it brought? It again divided our Indians by extending separate electorate into SCs, laborers, women. See how it is, how the Britishers are dividing us. And next, it introduced bicameral legislature at 6 places. So these are the 6 places. You need to remind them. Uh, Next, it extended franchise to 10% of people. Now, what is this franchise of 10%? That means previously only those people who got land tax, those who pay tax, and those who studied and those who got Western education are allowed to vote. And from now on, only more 10% got rights, voting rights in elections, and it provided for the establishment of Federal Public Service Commission, Provincial Public Service Commission, Joint Public Service Commission, and the hierarchy which was introduced at provincial level in 1919 now got abolished, but it continued the hierarchy at center. In this way, you need to interrelate things. It divided the powers into federalist, provincialist, and concurrent list. Okay, this is all about Government of India Act of 1935. Still, we use many provisions. Our constitution has many provisions taken directly from the Government of India Act of 1935. Now, here comes our hero. Now, what it is all about? Let us see. Indian Independence Act of 1947. It provision for the partition of India. Worst point. Next, through this act, British dropped its title Emperor of India. It dropped its title. Now, it also abolished Viceroy office, Secretary. Next, even though we got the independence from through Indian Independence Act of 1947, Governor General of British are still having powers of veto and assent to a bill. That means he can reject any bill passed by the Indian Constitution Assembly, and it empowered the Constituent Assembly as a sovereign body to enact its own constitution. It ended British rule in India. It discontinued the appointment of members for civil services, and this is another issue. Okay, so this is all about Indian Independence Act of 1947. So, as a quick revision, let us see from the beginning. Now, I'll tell you from where the questions are framed. They'll ask, when was the first political and administrative functions of company was first demarcated? Now, when was the first political and commercial functions were demarcated? So, and based on this, they may ask, who is the first Governor General of India? Answer is Warren Hastings. Now, through which act Supreme Court at in 1774 at Bengal was established? Through Regulating Act of 1983. Now, which act provided for the first regular regulation by the British government over affairs of East India Company? The answer is Regulating Act. So this is an example of how UPSC framing questions from even a single act. You need to prepare in this manner and analytical way and correlate the things so that you can remind the things for longer periods throughout your preparation and crack the exam with ease. Never get demotivated. I again say failure is not the opposite of success. Only quitting after taking the decision and constantly progressing, that is your failure. So keep proceeding at the same pace with consistency. This is a key reason for success. All the best.